Hello, this is Aaron Meehan of SG Gaming Info, and welcome to my thoughts on the Final Fantasy XIV Stormblood Early Access. Now, basically, what this is a talk about how the early access phase of Final Fantasy XIV Stormblood went. Now, I'm going to talk about it now because I've been thinking of doing a rolling Final Fantasy XIV Stormblood review. And I thought the perfect time to start this would be at the end of the early access with the Stormblood expansion officially launching today. And so before I continue, what you're seeing in the background is in the Ruby Sea. I'm just doing some side quests with the Kojin. I think later on I do some side quests with the Aura Rain in the Ruby Sea as well. I wanted to just do side quests because I didn't want to spoil any story content in the game, but I will be talking about the story later on in this impression video. Now, if you haven't already noticed, this is kind of an off-the-cuff first impression. Basically, this is non-scripted. The video you're seeing in the background was video I recorded earlier today, so I decided I'm just going to overdub this content you are viewing. And sorry if my voice sounds crackly. For some strange reason my voice hasn't been doing that well for the last few days. I think it might be a cold, I'm not 100% sure, so once again apologies for that. So of course the first thing I have to talk about the early access is the issues that were attached to it, let's just say. Because the primary issue was with the login. Many people were struggling to log into the game. If you were like me and logged in early in the day, around 10 o'clock-ish, say, you would have no problem. The queue would be very small. But if you logged in later on in the day, say about 5 o'clock when kids are home from school and adults are home from college or work, the login queue could extend to up to 3,000 people, which could go between an hour and a half and 2 hours depending. Now, when I played this morning at the launch of the game, I was in about 300 and something in the queue, which wasn't too bad, and this was about 2 o'clock. No, I haven't tried since, but I would presume that the number of people in the queue have gone up. Now, besides the login queue issue, there was issues with the instance servers. For those who don't know, basically when you log into the game, you're logged into the world. But these instance servers are basically kind of content that is kept away from the open world. So this would be dungeons, trials, raids, single player trials, Palace of the Dead, that sort of content. This was pretty much busted because, in my opinion, the issue was down to the fact that people rushed the story, and one of the early story beats was a single player trial, which involved you going to Raban, one of the leaders. He is one of the leaders in Ul'dah. Technically Nanamo is, but for some reason Raban acts as leader. He is, well, the military leader, you could probably say he's a general. And basically the problem was when people went to him to talk, they just couldn't continue, and it led to the funny issues of queues. Now, I didn't see these queues myself. I heard them being reported from second-hand sources, which is very interesting. Main reason behind that is because I knew the story content would be bogged down by people, so I basically took the time to level a red mage, which is one of the two new jobs in the game, the other new job being samurai. The problem with that really was trying to level red mage was Palace of the Dead was broken, and for those who don't know, Palace of the Dead is basically kind of a leveling dungeon. You go through 10 floors. It has an independent leveling system, so basically you start at 50 or 60, I believe, sorry, and you level if you start at floor 51 and you're at level 60, and when you get to the end of 10 floors you fight a boss. Once you defeat the boss, you can leave, and then you get X amount of experience. Now, what they did for the start of Stormblood was they increased the amount of experience you get by 100%, which means leveling from 1 to 60 is a lot quicker. I think I did 50 to 60 with the red mage in about 12 hours, but that does include the issue with the instance server going down, which meant Palace of the Dead was inaccessible. So I had to do fates, and some of that 12 hours was spent not playing the game and trying to get back in. So overall, as I say, I'm actually playing red mage at the moment. I'm just continuing to go through some quests. Very much like the red mage, as if you've seen or read my preview piece on Final Fantasy Stormblood when I played the game at the Stormblood EU Media Tour. I like the fact of how it played. Basically, it's a ranged magic job, but it also becomes a melee if it's attack. So basically, when you build up the gauge, as you can see to the left of the hotbar, the one on the left, the gauge on the left is white mana, the one on the right is black mana, or is it black magic? I always call them mana. If I'm saying incorrectly, please correct me. And as they raise up, you can use, if you can look at the skills 5, 6, 7, there are your melee attacks, which can be used when you raise the 2 mana gauges. Now as they range higher and higher, you can use them. I recommend using them from 8 when they're both in 80, so you can get to a full rotation, which it's actually kind of badass to look at, because when I've used it, you used to wipe off like 50% health of any of your basic mobs, which is pretty impressive and shows kind of how overpowered the red mage is at the moment. I'm hazardous to say it because I have high-end gear from when I leveled my black mage to 60 in Heaven's Word content, so I have a lot of that character's high-end gear, and plus I use my chocobo in combat because I'm finally getting around to leveling it. I seem to be stuck on level 9 forever. Someday I'll get level 10, who knows. So yeah, basically I think I should move on to talk more about, I think I'll talk about the story now. From what I played the story, as I said, I've been up, as you can see, I'm up to the Ruby Sea. I'm about level 63, but when I finished playing this, I managed to get up to the first primal trial in the game. I haven't completed the first primal trial on this expansion. I haven't completed that primal yet. I'm probably going to go try and complete it when I finish this. And I've pretty much just unlocked the second dungeon, Shishui of the Violet Tides. Speaking of dungeons, I did play the first dungeon, which is it's a dungeon you lock when you're on the way from Limsa on the way to Othad, or Kugane first really, before you get to the main continent of Othad. And basically on that journey, you kind of siren song brings you to this wrecked ship graveyard, and you have to fight your way through. It's a very easy dungeon. It felt kind of like one of those dungeons that introduces you to the game mechanics. Okay, there's some, I suppose the last boss is a bit difficult, but I wouldn't say it's very challenging. If you've played the game from 1 to 60, you'll have no problem whatsoever. I say those probably have power leveled themselves up to 60 with the potions will probably have difficulty, but that's just my opinion. As I've go back to the story, I think I went off topic there, but the story is basically you're trying to help Alamigo and then later Doma free themselves from the tyranny of the Guardian Empire. The Guardian Empire is probably really the big bad in the game. They were a major component in the 2.0 content, where you basically fight their leader and you kill him, and there's a power vacuum, and basically you go on from there. Stormblood is basically now kind of taking the fight more to the Guardian Empire. The Guardian Empire control Alamigo for several years. They've controlled Doma for about 25 years. And so you're basically taking the opportunity to fight back. Now it's very interesting how they're doing this. Basically, the lions of the technically 4 races now, Ul'dah, Limsa, Gridania, and Ishgard, aren't going in themselves. They're basically, the way they went in is they went to Alamigo Resistance like, look, do you need assistance? do you want to help from the Alliance? And they said yes. So basically they're going in basic terms of humanitarian aid. It's not a direct conflict from their perspective, which is very interesting, and you see it kind of in real life today. I'm tempted to give an example, but also not, so I won't give an example because some people will complain about that, how that's wrong, etc, etc. But basically how the Alamegan part of the conflict goes is you're basically pushing the resistance, the Alamegan resistance, you're training them, and then something bad happens and you realize, oh crud, we're really underprepared to fight the new Viceroy. And the Viceroy is pretty powerful. You actually fight him in a one-on-one match and he pretty much kicks your ass. I think I was fighting him and I only got to about 15% off his health and he pretty much destroyed me. It was a fight to lose match, so it's not too bad. So basically, what I liked about it is you see the power of the Viceroy you're fighting, and you really realize, oh crap, I have to get better. So what they end up doing is they decide to go to help the Doma Liberation Front. Now the thinking behind this, and I'm trying not to spoil things, is that the Viceroy of Alamigo is technically the Viceroy of Doma as well, but he does have kind of an attaché in place. But the reasoning they're going there, as Alphanod said, is it's to divide his forces. He can't focus on both Doma and Alamigo. So when we go to Doma, we're theoretically drawing his attention away from Alamigo, and the Alamegan resistance can have time to, how could you say, regain their forces basically, because at the end of before we leave they have suffered a heavy defeat. So I'm just trying to think for a second. I'm just looking at the game. A lot of this is actually coming from the back of my head. So basically, after I was saying, spread the forces, go to Doma to free them, and the people who go with you are, well, Ida. So not Ida. Well, the one who used to be Ida. You say now? Sorry, just Isa. Sorry, Lisa. Oh my god, I'm being terrible. Sorry, I couldn't remember the name Ida for a while, but now she used to have. Now you're going with Is. You say Is, and basically she used to be Ida, but this is her true identity. And Alphanod's sister. Oh bloody! I cannot remember that. Yes, Alice you're going with, and yeah, Lise and Alice. So I've had a completely mind blank there, and I had to check the wiki that I had open. So basically, they're your two main people with you. There is Alphanod is there, as well as is it Tataru? Yeah, it's Tataru if I remember correctly. Are there, but it's mostly Elise and Lise who are with you on your journey. It's kind of weird because my character is, I'm playing a female character, so it kind of feels like, oh, it's a girl's adventure. It's also kind of funny of how they're doing it. Like Alice is very much a relaxing force. Elise is, she's kind of worried in a lot of ways because of what happened at the end of Heaven's Ward, and how she's trying to live up to Ida, her sister, and her father, who are these great revolutionaries in the eyes of the Alamegans, and she just can't live up to them. She loves fighting, but her diplomacy skills are lacking, and of course Alice helps kind of correct that for her in many ways, because she's a good, I wouldn't say the best, she's a good negotiator. She's kind of like her brother Alphanod in many ways. And there's a funny scene in the Ruby Sea when they're going, I think just before you unlock diving, and Elise is telling Lise, look, when we all finish this, let's go for cookies. And it's a go kind of Elise makes. It's like, oh, I've always walked past this cookie shop and it smells lovely and all that, and I could never bring myself to go. And she asks you, it's like, yeah, well, you don't have a choice, you're going to go. And Lise agrees. And he says, oh, we should bring this Tola as well, because if we go without her, she will complain. and Elise agrees as well. Which is, it's... I like how that's done, because Elise is basically trying to relax Lise. Because Lise is getting really worked up by the fact that, oh, I'm doing all this to help the Domans, I'm doing this to help the Alamegan resistance. It's basically a way to get her to relax, and it's quite an interesting way. It makes her forget some of the major issues, I would surmise. So that's the good thing with the story. I'm trying not to say too much about the story because I'm only level 63, so I haven't seen a lot of everything. I will say this about the areas we're in. Kugane, still beautiful as I remember from the media tour. It's now great to see it populated with tons of people. Sorry if you hear dog barking in the background. I have a window open because it is like 30 something degrees out here in Ireland. We're in the middle of the heat wave and it is driving me crazy. So I have to have that door open, and I'm actually going to kill that dog probably when this is over because, yeah, it's a Yorkshire Bichon, so it's a very loud barker. Never get a Yorkshire Bichon or Yorkie or Bichon, any small dog. It is going to be the end of your days. Sorry for going off topic there. Oh, I'm going to kill that dog. This is what happens when I do unscripted. I don't know, I tried to do unscripted because I want to make it feel more alive kind of thing, less, hello, I'm reading from the script. This game is brilliant, here's why. It doesn't feel as flowy. I've noticed that a bit, and I don't think anyone's commented on it, but that's how I feel, and I feel I get more out when I'm talking more open like this. So as I was saying, I'm back from that tangent. Yes, the levels are as beautiful as I remember from the media tour. I want to see what they have later on. Like, speaking of dungeon, as I said about the dungeons, they do seem a bit too easy. Story is going well. I had to talk about the characters actually in Stormblood. Now we have obviously the returning characters. I'm surprised we haven't seen Tancred yet. Wouldn't be surprised if he didn't show up later in the story, because we ought not to see him really. But some small characters, like there is kind of fish person in Kugane. He's a walking, talking fish. He reminds me of the Ferengi from Star Trek, because, oh, he'll help you, but he'll sell you out in a heartbeat. And then there's the Kojin that you mainly see in Ruby C, and they're all about the Kami. They believe of multiple gods and spirits inhabit objects, etc., etc. There's actually not just the Kojin believe this, but other factions in Othad and Kugane believe this. So it's rather interesting, especially when you contrast that with how this like in Eorzea when they believe in Heidelin, which is this crystal. We've seen this crystal, we know it's real. And the Kami, we have seen semblance of we have seen some Kami, so it's this weird ideas. Basically both these ideas from both continents are real, and they work together. I don't know how this is, but it's odd because somehow the Kami are also primals. It's a very weird thing, and it's probably something I shouldn't really think too much about is what they're trying to do. But really, that's all I have to say about the early access. Once you get past all the technical issues that were in it, it was pretty smooth. I will say this, a lot of people said, oh, the likes of World of Warcraft never had issues like this. I take umbrage with that. World of Warcraft had several issues with their expansions. I remember when I played Final Fantasy XIV up to about this at the halfway through Cataclysm, and I returned for Legion for a bit, as you can see in my review when I reviewed that game. There were login issues. I think the last Legion, I don't think had any issues. Cataclysms, but I remember one, there was massive login issues. Servers kept crashing. For life of me, I can't remember which expansion this was, and if you do know, please let me know in the comments section. But just to say, like, oh, Stormblood, absolutely terrible launch. I'm sorry. Okay, it had these issues. They're recovering from them. Hopefully when the full game launches, the game's launched today, these issues will be resolved. It's a big issue for me that people complain about it. Yes, it's annoying, but they're fixing the issue. And for me, I don't think it really affects my overall opinion of the game. So with that said, thank you very much for watching. I hope you like this first impression of the Final Fantasy XIV Stormblood Early Access. Sorry for the ramblings in between with the dog barking. It's stopped now, thank God for that. I will be having maybe more rolling pre-reviews of Final Fantasy XIV Stormblood. I haven't decided yet. I do have a lot of reviews to get through, which is the only downside of working on your own. But hey, these things happen. So once again, I say thank you very much for watching. Please like, favorite, and subscribe for more gaming content. Wow, I really messed that one up, didn't I? Thank you very much for watching. Please like, favorite, and subscribe. For more gaming information, please visit sggaminginfo.com. And don't forget to like our Facebook page at facebook.com/sggaminginfo. And of course, follow us on Twitter at sggaminginfo. I don't know why my voice always goes like that when I go through that list, but for some reason it does. So based on what I'm going to have now is probably the end card up, and what you'll be seeing is obviously the subscribe button. The subscribe button, and obviously the thing to click to my website. And I know it's probably absolutely terrible that both pictures are the same, but I'm not an artist, and I don't have any artists or graphic people working with me to make new content pictures, so yeah, make do what I have, because that's what I'm like. And probably the video you're probably going to see to click on is the Final Fantasy XIV preview, although I might have another one underneath it with the 5 reasons why I'm excited for Final Fantasy XIV Stormblood. Once again, thank you very much for watching this early access video. If you like this type of style where it's not scripted, it's more off the cuff, please let me know, because I'm trying something new. This is new. I've been planning it for a long time. I just really couldn't bring myself to do it because I've been worried about negative feedback, etc. So I decided, look, I'll do this now. Final Fantasy XIV is a game I love so much. I love talking about it from the heart. And once again, I think scripted content in many ways might do a disservice to the game. It feels very static. You don't hear my love or dislike for certain portions of a game coming through. And as we approach the end, I'm just basically now rambling. Once again, thank you very much, and please continue to watch more videos from SG Gaming Info. And don't forget, we do have the website, although as probably some people are thinking when they read it, my god, is his spelling grammar terrible. Yes, I know this for a fact. Thank you very much. Goodbye.